All right, it's game number 9 for the Boston Celtics, and it's going to be a good one. The Celtics are heading to Oklahoma City to take on the new-look Thunder, and here to preview this matchup is the Thunder beat writer Erik Horne of the Oklahoman. Erik, thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for having me on anytime.
So many wondered if Carmelo Anthony could coexist with Russell Westbrook and Paul George, man. And I would say from the looks of things from over here, it looks like it's been a success. I mean, he enters tonight's game leading his team with 23 points a night. I mean, he's shooting 46%. The guy's really turned back the clock here, while Mr. MVP is nearly averaging a triple-double once again. Erik, from an X's and O's standpoint, how have these two managed to coexist and make things work in Oklahoma City?
Well, you're getting a lot of what people like to call quote-unquote Olympic Melo. You're getting that guy that's a catch-and-shoot three-point specialist. And also, Billy Donovan is utilizing him as kind of the fulcrum of that second unit. He's starting Carmelo Anthony in the second quarter, allowing him to create offense for himself and for others. Raymond Felton's been a guy that's also helped ease Carmelo's transformation. They seem to have good chemistry in that second unit. So it's been a good transition so far offensively, with these guys kind of taking their turns in terms of the offense. Paul George has really been the catalyst in the first quarter of games for them, and Carmelo starts the second. And Russell Westbrook has kind of sprinkled in his offense here and there throughout the entire game. So I think Carmelo Anthony's looked good so far.
The Bucks head coach Jason Kidd was raining down compliments for Russell Westbrook after Tuesday night's Thunder win over the Bucks. He not only called Russ the Mike Tyson of basketball, but he also labeled him the best player in the game. How accurate is that description from the future Hall of Fame point guard?
Man, that's lofty praise from Jason Kidd. I think Russell Westbrook is firmly a top 5 guy. I still think that LeBron James and Kevin Durant are probably the two guys you look at as the 2 best players in the game right now. And then you can have any mix of, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook in the top 5. But Westbrook can be in that debate any season. And I think that early on this season, with all the kind of buzz we've had around Giannis and him being this emerging guy as a 22-year-old from Milwaukee, I think we've undersold what Westbrook's done with this unit so far. He's averaging around 11.8 assists. He's leading the league in assists. He's taking fewer shots. He's shooting career highs so far in 7 games from the field and from three-point range. I think when this season is over, we're going to have a greater appreciation of what Russell Westbrook means to the Thunder, because he was able to assimilate 2 superstars in Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. That is, if the experiment goes the way it should. But Russell should certainly be in that conversation, and he might even take a couple of notches. He might even get a couple of notches up in the conversation for best player in the game by the end of the season.
This edition of the Celtics pregame report is being brought to you by Greats.com. Head to Greats.com, the makers of great, classic, stylish, comfortable sneakers, and they're sold at a great price. Head over to Greats.com, enter the promo code Celtics Roundtable, and get yourself 15% off your first purchase. That's Greats.com. Use the promo code Celtics Roundtable. Erik, Celtics point guard Kyrie Irving has embraced Brad Stevens' culture here in Boston. He's making plays on the other end of the floor as a facilitator and a scorer, putting the effort on the defensive side, and it's surely paying off. Now, this point guard duel between him and Westbrook is going to be an entertaining one. Who do you think gets the edge tonight, and why?
Well, I'd have to give it to Westbrook. He's in the past couple games he's played against Boston. I mean, even with a roster that wasn't as strong as this year's roster, Westbrook's gotten the edge. You remember him going up there to Boston and hit some big three-pointers to beat the Celtics in the Garden last year. Now, that team obviously didn't have Kyrie Irving on it, but they did have a series of defenders that they could throw to Westbrook. Jay Crowder, Marcus Smart, and then Avery Bradley, and 2 of those guys are gone. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they guard Westbrook, not to mention the guys like Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. But the intriguing thing, as I kind of mentioned about Westbrook earlier, is that he's taking fewer shots. He's really looking to get guys involved, and it's going to be interesting to see how they defend Westbrook from a facilitator standpoint. I don't know if Russell Westbrook's going to be going at Kyrie Irving or looking to score early on. I think he's going to be looking to set up his teammates, and that's the challenge for Boston. Stopping Steven Adams in pick and roll, stopping the Thunder from hitting transition three-pointers. But I give the edge to Westbrook because it's a home game. The Thunder seems to be getting some continuity on offense, and because of the previous previous success that Westbrook had against the Boston Celtics. But Kyrie's been fantastic to start the season. You're absolutely right.
Who wins?
I'll give it to the Thunder. They're coming off their best performance of the season.
You would.
They were. No, it's going to be a great matchup. I think it's going to be a matchup that could potentially be low scoring because both of these teams have been among the best defensive teams in the league so far in terms of points per 100 possessions conceded. So I think it's going to be a tight one. It's going to come down to a fourth quarter game, and I think that Westbrook is a guy who, we haven't seen a lot of fourth quarter Westbrook this year, and it's a situation where it sets up well for him at home to have a good fourth quarter close. And I'll go ahead and take the Thunder since they're starting to get their footing a little bit in terms of their overall play coming off that Milwaukee game.
Yeah, your prediction might be an accurate one. It might be on point, Erik. I think you might be right, but we'll see what happens tonight. He is Erik Horne of the Oklahoman. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Erik Horne OK. That's Erik with the K, Horne OK on Twitter. Hey, Erik, I appreciate you coming by and checking in, man. Let's do this again sometime.
Hey, thanks for having me. Anytime you need it.
All right, well, that's a wrap for this edition of the Celtics pregame report. Special thanks to Erik for joining me, and of course to all the listeners for tuning in to another edition of the Celtics pregame report. Guys, make sure you check out the Celtics postgame show right after the game tonight on CLNS Media. You can call in 347-215-7771 to get on the air, and you can listen to it on demand on the CLNS Media mobile app. For today's Boston Celtics pregame report with Josue Pavone, this is Josue Pavone signing off.